All right, producer Will, what do we got?
Yeah, a little mini episode today. We were talking earlier about advertising spend and the changes those have seen recently on linear versus digital, social.
Yeah, really no surprise here. Magna came out with a report for 2019 global ad spend. Digital advertising is up 15%. Linear advertising is down 4%. You look at something like print, it's down almost 20%. This has been the trend that we've seen. And I think, a crazy stat in that article I saw was online companies accounted for 306 billion of the 595 billion spent globally. So what we're seeing is brands are spending a lot more money on digital than they are traditional advertising. And they're experimenting with influencers. They're putting more money behind Facebook ads and Instagram ads. There's also more tech savvy new age companies that are coming out. And obviously they're just going 100% into digital and programmatic and things like that. And I think, this is why you're seeing the Disney Pluses, the ESPN Pluses, HBO Max, Peacock, because, TV and linear is starting to see money being pulled away from them and being used on digital. And when you look at the different streaming services, Will, it's going to be much easier to corner a demographic or be able to hit people and be able to see those results. I think the biggest problem with linear is the lack of measurement. How many people did they actually see this? How many people saw the ad and actually engaged or took a call to action to that ad? Linear, it's really, really difficult to do that unless you have a code or something like that. And with digital, it's very clear to see exactly how many eyeballs were on that ad and what your ultimate ROI was. So again, year over year, if you're in the digital or social media marketing industry, this is really good news because billions of dollars are being taken away from traditional and more on the digital side these days.
Yeah, and I think for talking on linear, for me, I notice when I'm watching TV, like the Golden Globes the other night, as soon as it goes to commercial, I'm looking at my phone to go to Twitter because I want to see what people are talking about. So all this money you're spending on huge ad spends for commercials, I don't think a lot of people are seeing those because people don't like commercials.
Well, and I think, they're starting to get it on the linear side. What you've noticed, especially being a sports fan, over the last 2 years or so, they're doing a lot of picture-in-picture ads. When they go to break, if you're watching a Laker game during a huddle, especially fourth quarter, they'll cut to an Amazon ad, they'll cut to a Tide ad, and they'll make sure that you can't fast forward, you can't DVR, you can't, go away and look at Twitter because what if you miss the action? So, they are making some changes to that point. But like I said, I really think that there's just undervalued opportunities, especially when it comes to these different shows uploading their segments to YouTube, especially in the ESPN, Fox Sports type of family. I just don't think those are being monetizing correctly. And I really do think, I was talking to some colleagues earlier this week about this, I think whatever the amount of money that you're currently charging for a third quarter bumper for an NFL playoff game, that's going to start to be the amount of money that I think networks can charge for a presenting sponsor for a YouTube video or to integrate your ad somehow digitally or on social media. So I think we've just scratched the surface. I don't think these larger brands, like I mentioned, athletes, networks are properly monetizing their social platforms and their digital rate card, if you will. And I think, brands are just going to be clamoring for this as we go into 2020, 2021, 2022. This is simply how things are changing.
So let me ask you a question. How do you think that's going to look for, let's say, like Coca-Cola, and you want to reach out to like Netflix and Hulu and get product placement in their shows, in their originals, in their movies?
That's that. To your point about I'm not looking at commercials anymore, that's another way that they're just going to, listen, advertising is what makes this whole industry go round. So, I think A, the content providers are going to have to play nice, but B, the brands are going to find more creative ways. Like we mentioned, the picture-in-picture, product placement. How can we still get, if there's eyeballs there, how can we get our product in front of those people and mention to them why this is a good product to purchase or to be a part of? So, yeah, you're going to see, I think, when it comes to, if Netflix chooses to never have any presenting sponsors or never cut to commercial or anything like that, like a Hulu does currently, then I think you'll see ways that you can integrate your ad. A lot of people say the Game of Thrones, the Starbucks cup was a simple mistake. I like to say that I think maybe Starbucks paid for that. So anyways.
I actually don't even think it was a Starbucks cup, so I think they just got a ton of free pub from that.
Oh, wow. Okay, there you go. Just a white cup. Right.
What do you think Netflix or anyone could run? I mean, imagine if you went onto Netflix's homepage and you're looking for something to watch that night, and there's a Coca-Cola logo right in the front in the top right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it's a Coca-Cola takeover. So that's Netflix. They're spending so much money on an annual basis. What is it, $8-9 billion in
I think it
original
was 13.
content? And they're doing that because Disney is pulling all their content off, and NBC is pulling Friends and putting it on their app or HBO Max when it comes to Warner Media. So you're going to see, I think, ways for them to make additional money. And like you mentioned, whether it's product placement, whether it's homepage takeovers, a lot of people are going to want to be involved in that. And now it's up to Netflix to make sure they don't ruin the user experience, but also they find a way to pay the bills because they are billions of dollars in debt and need to find a way over the next decade or so to get in the green.
I thought the picture-in-picture thing you mentioned was interesting because I noticed it on Sunday watching football. It was for a cruise line. I don't remember which one exactly, but they force you to watch it. And I said, okay, now I'm aware of this cruise company, and it's a smart way to kind of force people into seeing your message. And I bet that slot sells for more than just a regular commercial time.
100%.